Hello, this is Astro Breeze, and we are going to look at the chart today of Mr. Alex Jones. So get him called up here, get me out of the way, and let's look at this chart. So I think I have a pretty good birth time because I heard him say this. I was listening to his show, and I heard him say, I was talking to my grandmother or something. She was born at 3 in the morning or something like this. And I tend to think that's pretty good. That's pretty right on. Reason I say this, well, let me back up a little bit. He's a talk show host. He's been demonized by the media. Whenever anybody is, over the target when they're producing truth, the media is, especially current mainstream media, is going to demonize you. So he still is on. He's got a show. He's on the Eastern Coast time, Eastern Standard Time, every day at noon, and it's a 4-hour show. He starts with the news. He gives you a real good heads up of what's going on, and it's just research. He's got document cams, so you can see what he's reading. He gives you the source. It's from the Gateway Pundit, it's from Babylon Bee, it's from OAN, it's from the Washington Post, it's from whatever the sources are. And then real time, his computer, or people switch and show you pictures of the articles and stuff. So it's a clearinghouse of information. And people get the wrong information about him because of media. And they're stuck on, the Sandy Hook thing, and there's just way more to it. So I would suggest that everybody that hears this podcast on, that be going over his chart, listen to him. Go to banned.video, BANNED.video, and click on the Alex Jones Show and listen to it. There's a live one at noon. Also, at that banned.video, they record them so you can listen to past shows. There's a lot of links and information. You can also go to infowars.com. There's information there, but it's because the media is not putting that out there. You got to kind of find it on your own and do your own research and go down that rabbit hole and see the truth for yourself. That being said, let's look at this guy, because he is and again, I think this birth time is pretty good. If anything, it's a little later. If anything, it's a little later as it moves further into Sagittarius rising. Now, we're going to go into the Aquarius sun in just a second, but let me just say this while I'm thinking about it. Sagittarian risings. Sagittarius, I've known several Sagittarian risings, people, Sagittarius on the ascendant, and they're always frank. They always say things, just blurt out truths. It's very hard to lie or to conceal things if you're Sagittarius rising. They are just blunt and honest, and they'll just blurt things out. Sometimes it's very funny. They're very frank, and sometimes they don't even know it, and everybody's laughing or going, oh, and they don't really realize what they just said. Very funny. With that, let's go over the sun. His sun is at 22 Aquarius, right next to Jupiter at 24 Aquarius. Well, just that alone, anytime Jupiter is next to something, it magnifies it. So Jupiter's next to the sun, and that's going to magnify this person's personality. It's going to magnify that. And that's what makes him so larger than life, loud, outspoken, but he's outspoken for truth. Look at these 2 planets sitting there in Aquarius. That is like the number one fighter for truth. It's a rebel with a cause. It's like the universal tattletale. Mom, he did that. I saw him. I saw the teacher. She took out early. I got on my camera. I saw, this is the universal tattletale also. And this type of person cannot lie. Another reason why they cannot lie, over here, Neptune is in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is that bluntness, and Neptune wants to hide things, but we got that in the first house of Aries. can't hide there. That is just, he just blurt out everything. And I've heard him so many times. I'm like, he'll be like, oh yeah, this weekend, yeah, I'm taking the family. We're going to Dallas, and we're going to the islands off the coast of Dallas. I was like, why are you telling everybody where you're going? Unless it's a diversion, maybe. But it's like, don't say that. You know how many millions of people listen to you? You know, I'm going to DC this weekend, and I'm going to confront so-and-so. Shh. So anyway, that's that. It can't lie to you. So that's another, you know, when I look at astrology, I look at people and under the surface of this. So this this demonstrates to me that he's honest. All right, what else do we got going on? Interesting thing about him. I like to look at sun, moon, rising. Mercury, this is interesting too now. Mercury is in Pisces. I wouldn't kind of think that looking at him or talking to him, but this type of aspect is a think, feel. And this, then when you listen to him, it definitely is true, because he thinks, he communicates what he feels. There we go. So it's a communicate, not just a think, it's a communicate what you feel. And he's always going on his gut. And he'll say, oh, every time I listen to my gut, I'm right. And that is, you know, back to the first house, Neptune, and Pisces rules Neptune. So we look for where that's at, and it's, you know, over here, you know, he's got that like I said, communicativeness of that feeling nature, and he expresses it by that first house with himself. So anyway, the thing with the this Piscean quality is that feeling, you're communicating feelings, you know, where if Mercury, you know, is in its own sign, Gemini, it's communicating, you know, it reads 10 books at one time. It has 14 browsers open, you know, that kind, where this is the feeling side of it. So this is definitely true. And I've seen him demonstrate that often. I always go for my gut, you know, and he'll say, I go with my gut on things. Okay. What else? I like to look at Venus and Mars, and this is interesting. Here we have Venus in an earth sign and Mars in an earth sign. Venus in Capricorn. He's not the sexiest person, put it that way, but he's earthy, he's down to earth, and, you know, in the second house, Venus in the house of Taurus, the second house there, you know, which would, it's kind of like it ties into Mars over here. But anyway, you know, we've got that earth quality, that earth sign. So Venus there, it's a little bit more, this is the person, they will show you they love you by cooking a nourishing soup for you, or they secure some land or property for you. You know, this isn't the sexy kind of one, but he understands values. So these are very earthy values, and it's in that natural kind of second house. So that's a good place for that. So what he values is very earthy, and it's nice that we have an earth sign of Venus in an earth house. Okay, over here, and then it's making a trine. Actually, it's making a trine by aspect too, because it's only 4 degrees off about that over here to Mars. So Mars over here in Taurus is going to make him have a slow, steady burn and a workaholic. Mars in the 6th house, if this is correct. And again, I can kind of see this now as it rolls out. Sometimes when I look at one, you know, at charts, if they don't roll out, it's just like, nah, it's just nah. But he is always working, and he has been, you know, I've listened to him for, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years maybe. And I can attest to that. So anyway, he's got Mars in Taurus in the Virgo house of work. So he's always working. He's working at this. He's working at this stuff. This is life mission. And it's trining, making a nice trine over to Venus. So he's making a living at it. And he funds the operation with good things. He doesn't take corporate sponsorship. He doesn't whore out to corporations or pimp out to corporations. He sells products that are good for you. So what? Buy vitamin C, buy a water filter, buy a t-shirt, buy immune enhancing products. Woo. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool personally. So anyway, there's value, Venus, value, second house, making money to fund the operation. What a good thing. All right. Another interesting thing over here. Moon over here by Aquarius, and over here he's got a little stellium kind of over here in Libra. Got moon in Libra. Let's just talk about that. Sun, moon, rising. So moon in Libra, that's the universal person going to bat for you. He's thinking, or anybody, Libra moon is feeling about others. It's like they can't get others off their emotions. They're always emoting about others. And look with Uranus right there, it's pretty close conjunction. I mean, moon, you can give a little wider orb, but so we have some originality in sifting through the feelings. So this is an interesting placement here, but just the moon itself over here is giving us this humanitarian, this others, he's considering others, always emotions about others. And then he's born during that generation where Pluto was there in Libra, others. This also was, talks about family, marriage, and divorce. That's this generation here. All right. Looking over here, I thought this was pretty interesting. The South Node is conjunct Saturn. So he's got a heavy load to carry. And look at that. It's in the 7th house of others in being this multi-sign in Gemini. So, whoa, air and air. So this air sign gets along with all this air stuff over here. Back to the moon, this group here that we just talked about. But the moon and Uranus making a nice trine over here to the South Node and Saturn. But very interesting, look at Saturn trining Uranus. I got to talk about that first, but right by the moon node. But look at the degrees, Saturn at 28, Uranus at 27, but the trine. And what is the stuff we're going through now? We're going through the Saturn-Uranus square. We've got Saturn, the old structure, the conservativeness, the way things have been, and then Uranus, the reform, the radical views. But with these, and then with him again being Aquarius sun and Jupiter right next to it there in Aquarius, and Aquarius, it's interested in reform, but it doesn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It will throw out the bad bath, keep the baby, and then put the baby back in a better bath, where some things just get rid of it all. So it keeps the most valuable things, Saturn, and seeks to reform within that. It's like gutting out an old house. Okay, you're going to keep the old bones, the good wood on it, the good foundation, but then get rid of the cockroach, termite walls and wallpaper, and then the linoleum that has been all crusty and grody on the floor. And it's like, get rid of all that stuff. That's getting rid of what you need to. Maybe the windows aren't quite right. Instead of saving them, they're not, there's leaking, there's wind coming in, they're not fitting anymore. Get rid of them. That's Uranus. We're going to get new windows, or this is wrong over here. It was built wrong. We got to reform that structure. That's Uranus. Saturn is, the house has got good bones. It's got good foundation. The joists, the flooring, all that stuff is in good shape. We keep it. So that it just makes sense. It's very logical. So he's got a good trine between those, which is good. He's trying to reform, get rid of what's gone, all the rot that has gone on in our economy, our government, our country. Things were set up good, then it quickly got corroded, got corrupted. That's the word I'm looking for. So it quickly got corrupted, and the tattletale is going to go tell on it and keep ringing the thing until the teacher notices and punishes the wrongdoer. That's what this chart is all about. So look over here though with the Saturn right there by the South Node. That's a hard load to carry. That is the bringer of bad news. The South Node, things you got to get rid of, and Saturn bringing those hard things and dumping them off right in there. It's like, I have to tell you that your house is on fire. I'm sorry I got to disturb your sleep, but your house is on fire. That's what this guy has to do. This is what his calling is. This right here by the South Node. Right there, that conjunction. But then we've got help with the Sun and Jupiter there. Look at that trine. Look at this grand air trine. I didn't see that. Air, air, and air. Grand air trine in there. Look at that. Almost, yeah, look at by degrees. This is all pretty much the Saturn. Let's see, the 25 degrees with that. But look, it's all, you got to take it all into account. So he's kind of got an ease and flow to get across a hard thing. How can I say that again? The Sun and Moon are trining. He's got divine help to do a hard thing. That grand air trine is not sometimes always nice. I mean, look what this bringer has got to do. He's got the moon right there with Uranus. Is that, Uranus with the moon is like, a thumb in your ribs. Can't relax with this nice Libran energy. It's like, no, you got to get this across to everybody. You got to tell them, you got to tell the teacher, or you got to tell somebody that their skirt is tucked into their pantyhose in the back. It's like, pull that out, your butt's showing. That's the first one he's got to do. Like, go tell the person they've got a little green on their teeth before they talk in front of everybody. That's the person that's going to tell them that they've got, green stuff on their teeth or something like that. Or that's the person that's going to say you got a booger on your nose. That kind of stuff is the Saturn and South Node. And then, the moon and Uranus there is the teller that, but then the Sun and Jupiter is where he accidentally speaks it over the microphone and everybody hears, or he does it on purpose. So I hope you pardon my little analogies there. But those are those kind of big, cool things that I see. All right. With that big trine, that's pretty loud. It's funny sometimes once you get out certain things, that other things then show up. All right, let's see what else shows up here. He doesn't have a lot of cardinal energy, although we have the moon and Pluto and Uranus over here in Libra, but he doesn't have anything in Capricorn or Aries or Cancer. Although he's a pretty cardinal sign person. We've got a couple. We've got the first house is a cardinal house. Nothing in the fourth house. Couple things in the seventh. So he has so many, one thing in the 10th. So he does have planets in cardinal houses, which are that initiating type person. He's definitely in initiating. What else here? Take a look around. I mean, you can talk for hours and hours. I don't know, what I've been about 15, 20 minutes here. I'll probably do a part 2 after I look at this and see some more, but we'll also look at his progression and his transits. But just right now, we know, what we can look at transits, all of that stuff at well, my goodness, there's something I just thought of here. We do have Pluto. I'm gonna have to just say this because I remember thinking about it. We do have right now Pluto at the very end of Capricorn. It's like 26, 27 degrees Capricorn. And that would be, Pluto would then be coming into exact square with Uranus over here at 27 degrees. So this is going to be an interesting year for him. Pluto Uranus square. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the next video I do. But Pluto, just you think of the conversation, he's going to be bringing stuff up. And then Uranus's stuff just bloom, blam, out of the blue, sudden or insightful or surprising. And this is kind of interesting because they are, the InfoWars, they do have some courses that they just come out with, how to not be fooled, how, you know, we just bought them and just started listening to them. I forgot them because we get inundated with so many things, but he's talking about what China. We watched the first couple. I think it was like 11 or 12 of them. Anyway, it's like little mini series, little documentaries. So there's like this and that, but they're really good. They go over and he talks and he narrates it, and they have a lot of information getting it through. They're very good. So it's courses to help people realize where they've been fooled, where they missed the boat, where they've been hoodwinked, where they've been schnookered, and then how to break that spell, because we definitely have a big spell of many things in our society right now. So that's interesting. All right, anything else here real quick? He's got most of these things. He's got most of his planets at the later degrees, 20 from 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 20. Most of the stuff is in the 20s. He does have a couple things. He's got, 6 and 9 and 10. Okay, so we got a 9 and a 10. So we've got a square over here. So mutable. So we got Mercury and Neptune square. So conversation with, so there again, they bringing up or having to communicate things behind the veil, hidden things, the feeling. It's like that Mercury in Pisces, and that getting that feel of the things behind the veil of that Neptune. It's like, I think he just senses that those hidden things. It's like the bullshit detector, be like, oh, I know that. I know there's something hidden there, and like a pig just going to go root it out. I think that adds to that quality. So we look for, I like to look for balanced things in charts. So I'm seeing, we got all the trines, we got a square. Do we have? Yeah, we got some oppositions. We have some oppositions to look close. I don't see too many big oppositions. Yeah, here 25. Oh yeah, with this moon node, the moon, but moon nodes to Saturn. All right, so some of that, usually without oppositions or with some problems, if there's like relationship stuff. Well, he's married twice now, but born in that time where Libra was in, the Pluto and Libra generation. Plus, I'm sure he's an intense person to live with. That would show, Venus, Gemini on the 7th house. Always, I should say that I found that to be true, that person would be married more than once. All right, I guess that's enough on Alex Jones for tonight. Check him out. Look at this American hero, and more to follow. All right, bye-bye.